Welcome back, everyone. So, like I said at the end of yesterday's video, headlights on this truck. They're a H4 headlight, which I'll give you an example of what they look like. This is a H4 globe. So, 3 pins, very, very straightforward, very commonly used globe. So what the problem is that my passenger side headlight is working as it should. My driver's side is not. If I remove my passenger side headlight globe and leave the driver's side in, my circuit shorts to high beam without me turning it on. So I'm just going to do some tests now and I'll show you those and we'll try and work out what's happened. I think maybe someone's cut a wiring somewhere which has mucked up the circuit, but let's dive into it and have a look. Okay, so I've taken the pin off the back of my headlight that you can see here. Now, what we have wiring wise is we have an active, a neutral, and then green is generally a ground color, but this is actually the high beam circuit. So I have the headlights turned in the on position at the moment in low beam. So I just want to test using my multimeter, have it on volts maxing at 20. So it's an automatic sensor that'll read anything up to 20. If I put my red into my red pin, put that in there like that, and then in my black, I will put my black pin. Now, this circuit should show 12-ish, 12.3, 12.4 volts to be correct, which that's showing. You can see that there, 12.49. So that's cool. So now on the other side, same thing. I'm going to put my red into my red, like so. So that's into red. And I'm going to touch my black to my black. And I get nothing. Just wiggle it around a bit, I get nothing on that black pin. Try the other pin. And I get 12.4. Okay. So I know I've got power at this pin, but the power is different. Sorry, at this plug, but the power is different at this plug to the other side. So let's work out what we can test next from there. Okay, so the next thing that I want to test is continuity in the wire between my right side and my left side. So the way I do that is I turn my multimeter to the continuity setting, like so, and to test it, I'll simply touch the 2 pins together, and that audible sound is telling me that there is a connection between this pin and the other pin. So what I've done is I've got my red pin and I've pushed that into the red plug on this side, the driver's side. And now what I want to do is I want to test the other pin. So I'll go to the red on this pin. Okay, so I don't have anything on that pin. Nothing on that pin. Nothing on that pin. Okay, just double check my other end again, make sure that pin's in correctly. Oh, okay, so the pin at the other end wasn't in properly. So I have continuity between my reds. Okay, so what I'll do now is I'll check my next pin, which will be, I'll put it in the neutral and see if we have continuity between the neutral circuit. Okay, so down the other end I have that pin in the black wire. Turn this camera around a bit so you can actually see what I'm doing. So nothing in black to black, nothing in black to red, nothing in black to green. Okay, there's a possibility there's a problem with our neutral circuit. Okay, I'll just check that green and we'll come back in. So I have it in the green pin down at the other end. And I have continuity between red and green. Okay. Next thing to do is, I've got my globes back in the holders, but they're obviously outside the headlight assemblies. I've got another globe just sitting up here. And what I have down here is my relays, my high beam relays. So what I'm gonna do first things first, I'm gonna turn on the headlights as they are now. I'm gonna swap them over and see if it's a relay. And that's a really good way of testing a relay, to see if there's an issue there, and that'll be a very simple fix if that's what it is. So let's do that now. Okay, so as you can see, relays are a bit of writing on that one there, so you can see it, bit of print. So that's on the left, that's on the right, and our current situation is that's pretty dull. That one over there is pretty bright. I don't know if I can get a better picture of that for you. So like that's pretty bright. So over here is pretty dull. Alright, so as you can see now, swap them over. Let's turn the headlights back on and see how we go. Alright, so it's made no difference. That's still quite dull, that one. This one over here is very bright. So it's not the relay. So that would lead me to think that possibly it is a supply of power issue to this assembly. So what I'll do is I'm going to check power to these assemblies with the multimeter, and then we know that everything from this point on to the headlights is okay. Alright, so what I've done is I've removed the low beam relay and left the high beam in. I've also sprayed some sort of lubricant in there as well. Now, on low beam, neither globe is working, which is good. So that means obviously that removing that relay, I definitely know that's the right side. Now if I flick over, if I flick the lights onto high beam, they come on. So if it's a low beam, high beam. But the problem is, high beam is very bright on that side and dull on this side, to say the least. So I've got a feeling there's a resistance issue between here and there. I did get a resistance reading on my multimeter, but I need to work out why there's such a great resistance between the two. So in regards to resistance in an electrical circuit, it's basically how easy it is for the electricity in a basic form to flow around that circuit. Now, what I've just noticed is that this side headlight assembly is obviously different to that one, but it has a different negative or ground. That ground wire is just under there. I'm going to get my phone out. Hopefully you can see that, just under there, that black cable. Now, what I've just noticed is it looks very rusty. So what I would like to do is, if I can, get that on there so that you can see it. I'm hoping that you can see the multimeter, but if I go positive on my battery and then I complete the circuit, I'm not really getting much of a ground, a good ground anyway. If I ground it on the ground of the engine, bang, I get an instant ground. So that could be the cause of my resistance. I'm going to take off that little nut and give it a clean, And I'm going to put it back on again and see if that makes any difference. Alright, so as much as I would have liked that to have been the answer, it wasn't. It's got a hell of a lot of brightness on this side, and they're still fairly dull here. So move on to the next thing, now that we know that that earth or ground is good, and we'll keep checking. Alright, so for today now, I'm going to have to go and get some parts, which is going to be, I'm going to get some relays. I know I tested them, but I'm actually going to change them over just to make sure there's not something inside the relay that's sort of not really testable from my point of view that's gone. I'd rather just change them over, that way I know they're changed anyway. So I do have one working headlight and one that works on like a dismal low beam, so the car is drivable at night. But for today, I'm going to have to go get parts, which means I won't be able to get it all done today. So I'll get those parts tomorrow and then get back into it again. So thanks for watching, and keep an eye open for tomorrow's video. Cheers.